Hi everybody, hope all of you are well. Today I'll discuss your unit test portions answers. Now, your first questions of your unit test was choose the correct answer from the options given below. And first question was which among the following is the most electronegative element? Options are given nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, chlorine. You should know the order of their electronegativity. Okay. So you know that highest electronegativity is fluorine, then the then there will be oxygen, then there will be nitrogen, then there will be chlorine. So which one will be the most electronegative element? That means highest electronegative element. That will be answer will be fluorine. So first question answer is fluorine. Second question is given an element in period 3 whose electron affinity is 0. Generally inert gas or noble gases electron affinity is 0. Here options are given that neon, sulfur, sodium and argon. So two inert gases are given, neon and argon. So neon is a second period and argon is the third period. Okay. So your answer will be the argon. Second answer. Okay. Option D. The molecule containing a triple covalent bond. Okay, between two atoms. First option given ammonia. Ammonia, all hydrogens are attached to nitrogen by single bond. In methane, hydrogens are attached with carbon in single bond. Next one is given water. Here also hydrogens are attached with oxygen by single bond. But in case of nitrogen, there is triple bond between two nitrogen atom. Okay. So your answer will be the option D, nitrogen. Next question is given that element X of group 15 combines with the element Y of group 16. The resulting compound may have the formula. So in case of group 15, what will be the valency? You should know. Okay. So X belongs to group 15. Okay. So its valency will be in case of group 15, the valence will be 3. Okay. From where we are getting that 8 minus 5, that will be 3. Okay. In group 15, the number of valence electron will be 5. Okay. So valence will be 8 minus 5, that will be 3. And in case of Y is group 16. So its valency will be 2. Number of valence electron is 6, that is 8 minus 6 is equal to 2. So from here you can write X below 3 and Y below 2. So the formula will be X2Y3. So what is the option here? First option is given X2Y3, second option is given X5Y6, third option is given that C X3Y2 and D is given X6Y5. So your answer will be option A. Option A is the correct answer. Next is given what is the basicity of H3PO4. Here you should know the structure of H3PO4. Then you will be able to understand. H3PO4 is phosphoric acid. P double bond OH. Okay. So here 3 hydrogens are attached with oxygen. So these 3 hydrogens are replaceable. Okay. So definitely basicity will be 3. Okay. Here options are given. Option A is given that 1. Option B is given 2. Option C is given 3. And option D is given 4. So your answer will be option C, 3. Next is given that fill in the blank with choices given in brackets. First question is given higher the pH value of the solution, the more will be the acidic or alkaline it is. So pH value higher means definitely it will be alkaline. It should be greater than 7. Okay, then it will be alkaline. Okay. Next question is given, iron 2 chloride is prepared by dash method. Generally, iron 3 chloride is prepared by simple, iron 3 chloride is prepared by synthesis method or direct combination method. So, iron 2 chloride will be generally prepared by simple displacement method. If you add dilute HCl to iron, then it will form Fe plus twice HCl, forming ferrous chloride plus hydrogen. So this reaction is a simple displacement reaction. Simple displacement method. Okay. Next one is given that electrovalent compounds have high or low melting points. Electrovalent compounds means ionic compound, definitely it will be high melting points and boiling points. Okay. So your answer will be high melting point. The compounds that does not have a lone pair of electrons, option are given hydrogen and oxygen. Absolutely the answer will be hydrogen, because in case of oxygen, hydrogen, what is the structure? This one is the structure of hydrogen and oxygen. So in case of oxygen, there are 4 pairs of lone pair. Okay. So in each oxygen, 2 lone pairs are there. Okay. So it is not free of lone pairs. Your question is given that the compound that does not have a lone pair, hydrogen, all electrons are used in bonding. Okay. So hydrogen has no lone pair. So your answer will be the hydrogen. Next question is given, if an element has an 1 electron in its valence shell, then it is likely to have largest or smallest atomic size among all the elements in the same period. So if an element has 1 electron in its valence shell, that means it is group 1, and group 1s are generally alkali metals. Okay, when we go from left to right in a period, okay, generally the atomic size decreases. So that element has 1 electron. Okay, it is likely to be the largest atomic size. Okay, because when we are going from left to right, okay, in a period, then atomic size or atomic volume will decrease. Okay, so your answer will be the largest atomic size. Next question is given, answer the following questions in brief. What is the period and group of an element having atomic number 19? So whenever there is atomic number 19, it is nothing but potassium. So its group will be 1 and period will be 4. Okay, so it is a 4th period and group 1 elements. Next question is given, what is the valency of an element having atomic number 16? Atomic number 16, if we write the electronic configuration, then we can understand. So it has 16 electrons, so electronic configuration of atomic number 16, 286. Okay, so what will be the valency? Valency will be the 8 minus 6, that will be 2. This is the one valency, and in this case there is d orbital, so this element may have also valency 4 and 6 also, 2, 4, 6. Okay. Next is given that write the decreasing order of electron affinity of group 17 elements. So group 17 elements, which elements are present, that you have to first write. There is fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine and astatine. Okay. So here we know that electron affinity of chlorine is greater than fluorine. Generally down the group, electron affinity will decrease. Okay. So here chlorine will come first, then chlorine, then fluorine, then bromine, then iodine, then astatine. That will be the order. Okay. Decreasing order of electron affinity. Next question is given, state the number of shared electron, unshared electron in carbon tetrachloride molecule. Okay. So first we have to draw the structure of CCl4. If we draw the structure of CCl4. How many electrons are shared, okay, in bonding, and how many remains unshared pair of electrons? That is the question. So shared electron, how many bonds are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. That means 8 electrons are shared for bonding, and each chlorine, the number of electron that is not used in bonding, is unshared electrons. Each chlorine is 6. So total 4 chlorine is there. 6 into 4, that means 24 electrons in one CCl4 molecule, okay, are unshared. Next question is given: which property of ionic compound is responsible for high speed or fast chemical reaction? Okay, high speed or fast chemical reaction. Definitely when we dissolve ionic compounds, that will generate free ions, okay, and this formation of free ions is responsible for high speed or fast chemical reaction. But in case of covalent compounds, it will take longer time, okay, because it will not generate dissociate into ions, okay. So to break the covalent bond, time is required. Some covalent reactions may take 1 day, 2 days, and even 3 days also, okay. But if we add silver chloride to if we add silver nitrate to sodium chloride solution, instantaneously we will get the precipitate of silver chloride, okay. So this ionic reaction is so fast because of formation of free ions, okay. Next is the state the type of bonding in ammonium chloride compound. You know that in case of ammonium chloride, all 3 types of bonds are present, that is ionic bond, covalent bond, as well as coordinate bond. How do you increase the pH value of an acid solution? If we add base, definitely we can increase the pH of an acid solution, okay. Next question is given: which compound is generally used as antacid tablets to get rid of acidity problem in stomach? What type of compound? Generally base or alkali type of compound, okay. Generally we are using magnesium hydroxide or aluminum hydroxide type of compounds to get rid of acidity, and we are using these compounds as antacids. Write one of basic salt. Any basic salt you can write, like copper hydroxychloride, okay, copper hydroxynitrate, magnesium hydroxynitrate. These are the basic salt because it contains one non-replaceable, okay, one extra wedge, okay, that replaceable, that is replaceable, but here all wedge is not replaceable. Actually the base is the copper hydroxide, okay, so here all wedge are not replaceable, okay, one replaceable wedge is present, that is why it is called basic salt, okay. Next question is given: define ionization energy. That you know that the energy required to remove the outermost shell electron of an isolated gaseous atom is called ionization energy, okay. So in this way we have finished your answers of your unit test portions. So next today I will start a new chapter, okay. That chapter is study of compounds. Study of compounds. In this chapter there are 4 compounds are there. One is HCl, another is ammonia, concentrated sulfuric acid, and nitric acid, okay. So today first we will start from hydrogen chloride. Hydrogen chloride. These are past compounds, okay. HCl gas was first prepared in the year 1648 by Glover by heating a mixture of common salt and concentrated sulfuric acid. Joseph Priestley called it marine acid. Basil Valentine first described it as spirit of salts, and Lavoisier later named the solution of HCl as muriatic acid. Humphrey Davy in the year of 1810 showed that it is a compound of hydrogen and chlorine and named as hydrochloric acid. Generally, this type of compound as HCl occurs in traces in the volcanic gases, and it is important component of gastric juice in the stomach of mammals. Okay. Next, we'll discuss this chapter according to your syllabus because time is very short. Okay. If we get time, then we'll discuss elaborately. Okay. So first we'll discuss in your syllabus. It is given laboratory preparation. Laboratory preparation of HCl gas. In the laboratory, HCl gas is prepared by heating common salt, that is NaCl, with concentrated sulfuric acid. Here the reactants are sodium chloride, okay, it is generally taken in the round bottom flask, and concentrated sulfuric acid that is added through the Cecil funnel. Okay, so next we will write the reaction, then you can easily understand how that HCl gas is formed. That is NaCl is reacting with concentrated sulfuric acid. Here you have to write concentrated. Then less than 200 degrees centigrade, it will produce NaHSO4 plus HCl. And another possibility is there. If we take twice NaCl and H2SO4 concentrated, and if the temperature is greater than 200 degrees centigrade, then there will be formation of sodium sulfate plus HCl gas. Okay. So here products are sodium sulfate and HCl gas in the first case, and when the temperature is greater than 200 degrees centigrade, then it is sodium sulfate and HCl gas. Okay. Now we should know the apparatus setup. Then we will draw the diagram. First we have to take one round bottom flask. In this round bottom flask, at the bottom we will take the sodium chloride salt. It is the rock salt. Then through one Cecil funnel, we have to add concentrated sulfuric acid, and there will be one delivery tube. That delivery tube will enter into a bottle containing sulfuric acid. That is two neck flask, round bottom flask. Okay. That is concentrated sulfuric acid. So here is rock salt plus concentrated sulfuric acid. And the end of this tube, okay, that is delivery tube, will enter into a cylinder and is open to air. Now here one burner is required to apply heat, and heat should be controlled. Okay, generally it is done less than 200 degrees centigrade. And what will happen? According to the reaction, there will be formation of HCl gas. HCl gas will form, and then HCl gas will pass through this concentrated sulfuric acid, then it will be collected, okay, into this gas jar. Okay, here is the dry HCl gas by upward displacement of air. So this is the setup, okay, for the preparation of HCl gas. So sodium chloride is taken in a round bottom flask, okay, and concentrated sulfuric acid is added to it with the help of this Thistle funnel. The reactants are slowly heated and the hydrogen chloride gas is formed and is passed through this bottle containing concentrated sulfuric acid, and then moisture or water vapor, whatever is present, that will be absorbed by concentrated sulfuric acid. Then this dry gas will collect through this delivery tube in a cylinder by upward displacement of air. Now what will be the observation here? The HCl gas obtained in the round bottom flask passes through delivery tube and there will be formation of bubble. Definitely here will be formation of some bubble, okay, because HCl gas is passing through this solution and the dry gas is collected the gas jar. Next, purification of the gas. Hydrochloric acid gas formed is dried by passing it through concentrated sulfuric acid which absorb moisture. Next, we will discuss precautions. Reaction mixture is initially heated very slowly. If we heat at a very high temperature, then we cannot control the formation of HCl gas. Okay, so first we have to heat very slowly. Okay, then we have to control the temperature also near about 200 degrees centigrade. Okay, this is one of the precaution. And the lower end of the Thistle funnel should dip below the acid flask. Otherwise, the HCl gas obtained will escape out from this Thistle funnel. So here, if there is no, if the end is not deep in the solution, from this path, okay, HCl gas will go outside. Next, collection. The dry hydrogen chloride gas is collected by the upward displacement of air. Because it is heavier than air, it is 1.28 times heavier and it is highly soluble in water. That is why it is not collected over water. Okay. Next, we will discuss the identification of this gas. If we take a glass rod moist with ammonia or ammonium hydroxide solution, then if we just take here just at the brim of this gas jar, if it is full with HCl gas, then HCl gas will react with this ammonia gas and forming dense white fume of ammonium chloride. Okay, from there we can easily identify the HCl gas. Okay, now questions may arise why sodium chloride is preferred in the laboratory preparation of HCl gas. Because it is cheap and it is easily available. Now why concentrated sulfuric acid is used? Since it is a non-volatile and has a high boiling point and it hence displaces the volatile hydrogen chloride from the salt of sodium chloride. If we use concentrated nitric acid to dry the gas, then what will happen? Or if we use the concentrated nitric acid to prepare the HCl gas, okay, then what will happen? Okay, so concentrated nitric acid is volatile and it has no moisture absorbing ability also, so that is why it is not used for drying. If we used here for preparation of HCl gas, okay, then what will happen? As it is a volatile acid, okay, definitely in this HCl gas container there will be chances of nitric acid vapor also. Okay, so that will be very difficult to purify this gas. That is why nitric acid, as it is a volatile, is not generally taken. Now, next question may be arise why the temperature should be maintained less than 200 degrees centigrade. We can use this another reaction where sodium sulfate and HCl gas is formed, is greater than 200 centigrade. Actually, the temperature above 200 degrees centigrade are not used because fuel is wasted. Huge amount of fuel is required, and the glass apparatus may tend to crack, and the sodium sulfate form a hard crust, sticks to the glass, and it is difficult to remove. Now concentrated sulfuric acid is used as drying agent as to remove the moistures because this gas generally do not react with this HCl gas, and hence concentrated sulfuric acid can be used as a drying agent. But if we take the other drying agents like calcium oxide and P2O5, what will happen? Definitely there will be reaction. Calcium oxide will react with the HCl gas forming calcium chloride plus H2. That is why calcium oxide that is alkaline nature, that will react with HCl forming salt and water, so we cannot use it. Okay. Now if we use P2O5, what will happen? P2O5 also, phosphorus pentoxide also will react with the HCl forming that POCl3, phosphorus oxychloride. Okay. Plus there will be formation of metaphosphoric acid, thrice HPO3. Okay. So we cannot use this calcium oxide or P2O5 as drying agent during lab preparation of HCl gas. That you have to understand. Next we will discuss that HCl gas, why it is collected by upward displacement of air, why it is not collected over water. Actually it is not collected over water because it is highly soluble in water. Okay. And one information is very important for you, that 1 volume of water dissolves about 452 volumes of hydrogen chloride gas at ordinary temperature. That is why HCl gas is not collected over water. During preparation of hydrochloric acid, we have to pass the HCl gas through water to prepare hydrochloric acid. That is different case, but it is not generally collected. If we want to get the HCl gas, then it is not collected over water. Now HCl gas, why it is collected by upward displacement of air? So as it is 1.8 times heavier than air, so we can easily collect the gas. Okay, the gas is collected in a cylinder, okay, in open air, because this gas is heavier, HCl gas is heavier, and so it will displace the air inside this gas jar. So by upward displacement of air, the gas is collected. So hope you can understand this laboratory preparation of hydrogen chloride gas. Today up to this, and next day we will discuss more of this hydrogen chloride. Okay. So thank you.